There's good. Then there's sticky, sweet, spicy, double your napkins, don't even share with your own best friend. General So Good. Introducing General Soul Sauce for a limited time at Buffalo Wild Wings.
All right. Well, I am joined here now by Hudsonville Unity Christian head coach, Randy Heethuis. And Randy, first off, congratulations on getting back to yet another state final.
Oh, thank you very much. Appreciate it. It's every year that's kind of something that you put on your calendar and hope to be able to get to. And this year we're fortunate enough to be able to get back.
You know, we were just talking about this here in preparation for this, but, you know, I talk about the journey, and I had a chance to talk with Grosse Seals head coach here a little while ago. And, you know, it's their first time making it to a state final, right? And you've been here now 14 times and won it 10. So what's the journey like for you, being that you've been here before?
You know, I mean, that's the beautiful thing, is that every year is different. You know, you got a different group of kids, different circumstances. There's a lot of similarities, but you know, you go through your regular season of, you know, roughly 18 games, and you know, you've got your conference season, your non-conference games, all in hopes and preparation for the state tournament. And then if you're fortunate to get through districts and regionals, so you move on to the state, and you got 2 games there, and we won on Tuesday night, so we get another crack at it tomorrow. And you know, for our girls, you know, that's one of the things. You know, we don't really talk so much about state championships or state titles, but it's more about playing on that last day. And that's kind of the goal. We just have a great time together, love to spend a lot of time with each other, and just to be able to extend that season as long as you possibly can. And we're just thrilled that we're able to do that again this year.
Yeah, I remember when I was an athlete in high school and we were going through deep playoff runs. The thing that I always remember as a player is those training sessions where you're like, we're only one of like 4 teams left doing this. You know, everybody else is at home wanting to be here, and I could imagine that same feeling for your players, knowing that this is it. You know, and that they're one of only a handful of teams left doing this in the state playing right now. So it's really cool.
Absolutely.
You know, looking at this and looking at statistically, of course, I mean, 110 goals scored this season, but the really one that's really stands out to me is the only allowed 8 goals the entire season, right? I wouldn't say it's easy to score goals, but 110, that's a lot of goals to score, but you've only allowed 8. So talk about your defense and how important that's been to you this year, making this run.
Yeah, I think, you know, we really try, you know, our backs have been playing really well. We're getting, you know, timely goalkeeping when it's necessary. You know, I think the best goalkeepers are goalkeepers that don't tend to have to make a lot of saves because they're directing the people in front of them. And you know, we're very fortunate to have a center back that's a 3-year starter. Our 2 outside backs have done just a tremendous job doing what we ask of them, whether it's marking or whether it's, you know, covering, pressuring, all those sorts of things. They've just been playing very well collectively. But the thing, I think the real key for us is that we really try to emphasize defending as a whole team. And, you know, that starts with our forward line, that they're our first line of defense. And, you know, we really try to emphasize that when we don't have the ball, we all defend. And I think when you do that, that allows you to have, you know, that kind of success defending. And, you know, they might say the best defense is a good offense. And if you can keep the ball down at the other end of the field, that makes your job in the back a whole lot easier. So it's a combination of all those things that have really helped us to get to where we are today. And I think, you know, obviously it's the kids that are buying into that philosophy.
I mean, no question, because you look at you played Elk Rapids here on Tuesday, as you mentioned. You won that game 6-0 against a team that themselves had scored 99 goals this past year, only allowed 17. I mean, you were able to go out, shut them down, and now and score 6 goals. And then tomorrow you're playing against Grosse Ile, and Grosse Ile along the way they've scored 100 goals and only allowed 15. It seems like a lot of goal scoring happening here across the girls soccer at this in these remaining teams. What's Talk about Grosse Ile for a second. First time making it to a state final in their history. Their boys' side have been very successful over the years, but it's their first time making it here, and they're facing a foe that's been there quite a bit.
I think back to that first time, and there's obviously a level of excitement there and anticipation. Obviously what they've been doing certainly the entire season, but definitely the last 3 weeks is, they've found a formula that's working for them. And, they've getting some timely goals, and, they've stepped up to the PK spot and have come out on top in 2 of those. So they're just a very sound all around team. You don't look at them and say that there's any real weaknesses. I think that they've got some quality players and talent, and they're spreading it around, and it should be a really good high school soccer game tomorrow.
No question about that game taking place tomorrow at 1:00 at the Martin Stadium in East Lansing, and we're excited about that matchup as you just mentioned. What your team obviously has a training session tonight, I would imagine. I had a chance to talk, like I said, with the head coach over at Grosse Ile, and we talked kind of about team dinners and what that's like, getting ready for a matchup, because the state final tomorrow, I can imagine for a lot of people will remember the outcome maybe, but a lot of it's what's happening during the extracurriculars, right? The celebrations and the team dinners and all these things along the way. They have nothing to do with the game itself, but being together as a family. What do you guys do in preparation for this event here tomorrow?
It's funny that you bring that up, because we've already practiced today, and at the end of that practice, you referenced it earlier. There's only 8 teams still standing, and there's only 8 teams in the state that know when their last practice is going to be, and ours was today. And so it got a little emotional especially for the seniors after that practice, because that was it. And now you hit the nail right on the head. I mean, it's so much more than playing the game. It's so much more than wins and losses. You described it very well, in that it's a family. And from bus rides and team dinners and bus foods, and like tonight, we get together for a team dinner, and there's kind of a tradition over here as our girls get their hair braided. And so that's kind of a big deal for them. And so that's one of the things that tonight will be the last time for some of them. And, I've been privileged to be a part of this for a lot of years now. And, I shared with the girls some letters that we received in the past from former players, talking about the thing that you just mentioned, talking about the tradition and the bus rides and singing at the top of their lungs and all that sort of stuff. And that's the stuff that builds memories. And that's the things, it's those relationships that they're going to remember 20 years from now. And there's a lot that goes into it in the preparation in the actual event itself tomorrow, but it's, like you said, it's a journey. And we're just extremely pleased that we were able to be a part of it and can share it together and get to do it one more time.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. It's just one of those things, that we talk about this game and the game while being very, very important. And the ultimate goal is to go out there and win. It's the memory of all the other things that I feel like when I went to a state championship, I remember the game, but I remember the bus ride. I remember, the celebration we did afterwards. And so I'll never forget those moments. And so the last question I have for you, well, it's a 2-part question. We ask this of everybody now. It's a personal question in regards to food. So we tend to talk a lot about food on the network. We think it's a great thing. We think food brings people together, and it does. So if you had a go-to meal, if this was like your last day on earth, what would your go-to meal be?
Oh, wow. The last meal. Well, you got to understand that I get kidded all the time over here, because I have a very simple acquired taste.
Okay.
And, if I'm going out, it's typically either a burger or chicken finger or something like that. And so I get mocked all the time. But that'd be a tough one. I'd probably either take a really good pizza, or more than likely my go-to would be Swiss steak, mashed potatoes, corned beans, gravy. That would probably be the last meal.
Okay. Well, you mentioned chicken fingers, so I got to dive into that just for 1 second. So, is there a chicken finger or a place that you like that has the best chicken fingers?
Oh, I would say there's a lot of good ones out there. I'd probably narrow it down to probably two at this point. I love Wing Doozy right here in Hudsonville, or the Corner Bar in Rockford.
Okay. Well, you are going to be in East Lansing, and now there's a brand new Raising Cane's out in East Lansing. So I don't know if you knew about that. The Raising Cane's is pretty good. So, but
I was at one of those in the South. So
yeah, they're good. The next question I have for you is in regards to sweets. We love candy here on the network. We talk about candy all the time. What would be a go-to, sweet treat of yours?
Ooh, are you talking like a candy? Are we talking chocolate? Or are we talking like?
See, it's funny how everyone always asks. People always ask, "Is chocolate?" I feel like candy and chocolate fit into the same mold, but I mean, you can go whatever way you want.
Okay. Well, I think my absolute go-to would be your regular milk chocolate M&Ms mixed with peanuts.
Oh, okay.
Not the peanut M&M. That's a close second, but it's got to be the M&Ms, plain M&Ms with a good Planters peanut.
Oh, there you go.
If I get the right ratio there, it doesn't get much better than that.